I designed and made a spring pole lathe a couple of years ago that fit onto my workbench, and I made a video of it for you guys to look at. But since I've moved my bench, I've made a few adjustments to it, and I'm just going to show you what those are today and how it works. So one of the changes I had to make was to flip these tool rests on this side from this side over to here. I'll bring you around here and show you what's going on with that. So the tool rests are now on this side. I don't think this is a permanent feature, but for now it works for me. The lathe sits on the edge of the bench there, and then I have to clamp it down with a couple of clamps. It's also modified the pedal so it could reach around the leg a bit easier. Before I had it where the angle was sort of up here, the angled brace, so I lowered the angled brace down here, which means that I can push the pedal further that way, which makes it also accessible to my left foot as well as my right foot. So if my right leg gets tired, I can just use my left leg. I've also added some screws so I can screw it into the ground to keep it steady. I've got a wooden floor here. The way I had it before was I would put the foot that I wasn't pedaling with on this back piece and then pedal with the other foot on here, but it just makes this move around too much. With this screwed into the floor, I don't have to think about it. You could also maybe use like a heavy sandbag, or maybe just make like a slot in the floor for this to slot into or something. At the moment I've just got screws, so that's what I'm doing with that for the moment. So now we come to the other end of the bench, the opposite end from where I'm turning. And this is just a little enclosure that I made for the spring pole to fit into, so for the hazel branch to fit into. And this is like a little wedge that I can tap in and out to try and adjust it to get it to a good tightness in there so the pole doesn't want to fling out or anything. I'll just show you now how that goes in there. Now granted, this is a little bit fiddly and it's not the best in the world, well, not the best way to do this perhaps, but for the moment it works. I still need to make other adjustments to it to make it a lot more easier to set up, but it's not too bad. And there we go, that's in. So from this point you take the string from the top down to your workpiece, you pull it down to in front of the workpiece and wrap it round that way a couple of times or a few times, up to you. I'll do a few times. And in that way, when you're pedaling downwards, the piece turns towards you, which is the cutting motion. So when you're pedaling down, that's when you cut, and then as you release, it goes back up to its normal position, and then cut, up, cut, up, cut, up. You'll see that in a sec. Then I put it between the two centres, which are just two sharpened bolts. Put one in there, one there, move it up. Then I get the wedge which holds this stock in place. So the wedge goes in here, and I get my mallet, hold this close in here, pull it tight, that's solid in there, and this spins. All I have to do is get the end of the string where I've got my little loop, put it over the pedal. Then we can just get the pedal where we want it, and I'm afraid I'm going to be using a power drill now. If you don't like power drills, look away. There we go. Just going to put the rest on here. Like I say, this is not a long-term solution because I'm drilling holes in this all the time. Same as the pedal, probably not really a long-term solution. But for now, this is what works. So I just get this pretty close to the wood, and we drill it in. So now we have the setup. The pole is attached to the bench. It's springy. it has a rope coming down from it, or paracord in this case, going down to the lathe, wrapping around the piece, and then going onto the pedal which is attached to the floor. So that sort of gives you an idea of how a spring pole lathe can work. Am I good at using it? Not particularly. I have to get used to sharpening the tools properly, you know, picking the right wood, pedaling with the right motion and everything. It's quite a hard thing to get used to, but it's quite satisfying. I did actually make this completely round on here, and I've made a couple of other small things. I actually did a 12-hour stream on Twitch where I did turning for about 6 or 7 hours, and I'm going to show you one of the things I made on there. I've got a video coming up about that. So I hope you enjoyed that, and I hope it kind of made you realise what kind of stuff you can do with a load of old pallet wood, if you want to. If you like that video, please don't hesitate to like it and also share it. That helps me out a lot. I do all kinds of hand tool woodworking projects. You can see quite a big library of videos that I've made so far. I also stream every Monday, Wednesday, Friday and sometimes Saturday on twitch.tv/TimberandYou, where I do all kinds of woodworking stuff that you won't actually see on YouTube. Some of it you will, but some of it you won't. So if you'd like to come over there and follow me and watch me and come and have a chat, that would be fantastic. But until then, I will catch you soon. Thank you very much for watching.